Hey everyone! Welcome to Abby Online Teach. So today I'm going to be sharing 5 of the key essential steps in order to learn how to read. And then I'll share a few pieces of advice to help you to become a confident reader. And before we get started, I just wanted to say that one of my biggest tips is to ensure that you have an open, can-do mindset. So just try to not give up, keep persevering, then eventually you will become a confident reader. So the first step is to have phonological awareness. So this just means to have awareness of words and sounds and rhyming words. So for example, if you are listening to a sentence, you need to be able to actually hear each individual word. If I was to say, the cat crossed the road, you would need to be able to identify each individual word. The, cat, and so on. And you can also then move on to listening to words that rhyme. Cat, bat, hat, and so on. So for this step, I would recommend listening to songs, trying to clap the rhythm, and just having an awareness of the sound and words around you. This leads us on nicely to the second step, which is phonemes. So phonemes are the smallest unit of sound within words. A few different examples of phonemes would include A, D, P, G, and so on. So in the word dog, you can hear how many sounds? Let's count. D, O, G. D, O, G. Dog. So in the word cat, I can hear K, A, T. Cat. So these are the individual sounds that are used in words. This may seem like a simple step, but you'll be really surprised with how many children and adults that are learning English as an additional language find it really difficult to create these sounds. So it takes time and it does take practice. And step 3 is to learn the grapheme phoneme correspondence. So this may sound confusing, but all I mean is which letter or combination of letters represents which sound. For example, the letter A represents the sound A. The letter B represents the sound B. And we also have combination of letters which represent sounds. This is where it can get a little bit confusing. However, I'm going to try and explain it as simply as possible. So we have something called digraphs, which is when we have 2 letters that make one sound. For example, if we had an A and a Y, these letters make the sound A. We then have combinations of 3 letters that make one sound. For example, the letters I, G, and H would make the sound I. And then we also, lastly, have split digraphs, which is when we have 2 letters with 1 letter in between that make one sound. This does sound really confusing, and that is why I have made my whole YouTube channel trying to explain this. So to sum this up, we can have different combinations of letters that make one sound. And step number 4 is to begin blending sounds together. So once you know a few sounds, you can then use these sounds to blend them together to read words. So if you had learnt the sounds B, A, T, you could then place them together and begin blending them to read the word. So B, A, T, B, A, T, bat. So in order to blend words, you need to keep saying each sound and get faster each time until you can read the word. You may find it helpful at first to have pictures as a prompt, and this really support you in being able to identify the word once you have said each sound. And step number 5 is to learn the tricky words. So in the English language, unfortunately, there are many words that we can't sound out. So we need to remember them. For example, the word the, I, into, no. These words would all be classed as tricky words because unfortunately we can't sound them out. It takes time and it takes a lot of practice, but as long as you're doing it slowly and gradually as you're learning to read, you'll eventually build up your knowledge so that you memorize many tricky words. So those are the 5 essential steps in order to learn to read. And I also wanted to share a few other tips and tricks to help you to speed up this process. So my first tip is to then learn the high frequency words. So these are a list of words that are most commonly used when you're reading. So for example, a, the, and, come, some, if, what. All of these words are going to be used many times when you're reading. So it's a really good idea to just learn these and memorize them so that you can read them quickly and confidently. Another tip is to ensure you're reading many picture books. Whether you're a child or an adult, it's really important to have pictures so that this supports your understanding of the text. You can also look at the image to try and have a guess at the word. You could even sound out some of the word, and the image might help you to guess the word. And my last and final tip is to ensure that you understand what you have read, often known as reading comprehension. So if you've just read a page, try to think, who's my favourite character? What was the main event? What was my favourite part? And if you're supporting someone with reading, such as your child, then also ask them as many questions as you can. So all of these questions will really test you to see if you can explain what you've read and also to show that you understand what you're reading. So that's the end of today's video. However, I will be making lots of videos to support you or your child with their reading, and I will also be offering more individual support with my upcoming courses and challenges. So if you'd like to subscribe to my email list, you can find this over on my website, which is linked down below in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!